Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am back with my Pan Those Palettes update. I've been working on 3 palettes in this project since start of this year, and the 4th one is rolling over from last year. So in the beginning of this project this year, I had 19 eyeshadows to begin with. Few of them already had a lot of progress. I was consistently using those eyeshadows, so now I'm only left with 4 eyeshadows in total out of those 19. So we finished 15 eyeshadows over these past few months. Please keep in mind, I have been using those eyeshadows for a long time now. It's just that rolling them into this project made me focus on them a little bit more, which resulted in getting them done. So anything that I roll into this project, I want to finish it. Since we only have 4 eyeshadows left in this entire project, I want to roll in another palette. Yes, that's right. But before I get into all of these details, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Ravneet and I make a lot of panning videos. Now let's talk about what I've been panning. So I have 2 themes for this project. One of them is the Fantastic Ladies collab theme that got picked up by voting in a Facebook group that is fun sized. For that theme, I have rolled in palettes that are tiny. The other theme is Better Together, which was created by Paula. In here, you need to pick up palettes that go well together. And the reason I have been panning 4 eyeshadow palettes is because I had this eyeshadow palette that got rolled over from last year. And then I picked up this palette for my Pan That palette. And then I picked up this one as a Better Together. And this one I just simply rolled in for its size. I thought if we are doing Better Together, why only limit to 2 palettes? We can do 3. Sticking with the theme, I am rolling in this 5th palette now. This is also a fun sized palette. It's again from Essence. It's called Top It Up. Before we get into the details of all of the eyeshadows that are in here, let's take a look at where we are at with existing palettes in this project. So the first one is of course e.l.f. palette. We only have 1 eyeshadow remaining in here. So this palette is called Summer Breeze. This is in the older packaging. I had totally forgotten that I also finished pink eyeshadow last month. I finished it very early on after using it 9 times. I was using it every day until it was done, and that's the reason I forgot about it, and I assumed filming this update that I had finished it earlier and I was only working on black eyeshadow, but I wasn't. This eyeshadow is in fact the one that I repressed. I didn't have to use it a lot after repressing, so in total I used it 9 times since last update, and this was finished. So let's talk about the black eyeshadow now. This is what the black eyeshadow looked like last month. This is what it is looking like today. This is something that I have been using quite a lot. I'm using this eyeshadow in every single eye look, in my eyebrows, in my waterline or lower lash line, everywhere. Even when I don't wear full face of makeup, or even on the days when I don't wear any eyeshadow, I still reach for this one. And that's the reason I reached for this eyeshadow 28 times since last update, and that has moved this eyeshadow a ton. So now I have hope that I can maybe finish it by end of this year. Let's take a closer look at this eyeshadow. So there is not a lot of it left. You can see the edges are very thin, and hopefully by next update I might be able to use this part up, like not completely, but maybe to the point that the top part looks like the bottom one. I'm going to aim for that. That is going to be my goal for this palette. But I'm super excited because when we started this project, we had all 10 eyeshadows in here. Last year I managed to use 5 eyeshadows up, and remaining eyeshadows got used up this year. and this is the last one standing, so I'm excited to get this done. It's also the only true black I have in my collection, and I really like it as well, and that's the reason I'm not using it in my hairline or anywhere else. I am strictly using this as an eyeshadow. Sometimes I would put it in my tailbone, but yeah, that's all the times that I use this eyeshadow, I wear it on my eyes. So that's it for this palette. Let's move on to our next palette that is bronzed this way. So we repressed an eyeshadow. That was the only eyeshadow that was remaining in here, and this is what's looking like today. So we managed to use it 12 times since last update, and there's not a lot of it remaining in here. It's very thin, and I think if I continue using it this way, I might be able to get it done in maybe a few months. So that is super exciting. So my overall goal for all of the eyeshadows in this project is to use them at least 5 times each, which I'll be changing for the new palette I'm introducing, but for the existing palettes, it's always 5 uses. That's what I'll be aiming for this, and I think in those 5 uses I might be able to expand this pan further. So that's everything I have for bronze this way. It's really exciting that this palette will be completely done in a couple months. Moving on to our next palette, which is from Wet n Wild. It's the code called Walking on Eggshells, and this is what we are looking at. So we managed to use this eyeshadow 19 times since last update. That is crazy. I was saying that I will not be focusing on hitting side pans or anything, that I would want to clear out the sides or maybe like thin out the sides, but I hit side pan because there's not a lot of product clinging to the sides. So I just kept expanding that, and this is again something that I think I'll be able to finish in a couple months. And I wear it in my brow bone, inner corners all the time to brighten them up. This is a really nice shade. Again, only one eyeshadow remaining in this palette. And then moving on to the palette from where we finished 3 eyeshadows. Yes, we did that. My goal for this palette was to use 2 eyeshadows up, but I managed to knock all 3 of them, and that's really exciting to me. That leaves us with only 1 eyeshadow behind. So let's take a look at what this palette is looking like today. I repressed all of the remaining eyeshadows in here, and if you remember this one, it was also repressed, but then I repressed it again to move all the product towards the center because I had a huge pan in the center after I used it, after repressing of course. So let's take a look at the first eyeshadow. This one is called VIP. Since last update I used it 7 times. This is something that I really need to use a lot to build it up, and that's the reason it's moving super fast. And then this was already done. We finished Vanilla Ice, and it took me 10 uses to finish it. So I was using this as a blending out shade and also as an inner lid shade to kind of brighten it up. For the most time, I was just mixing this eyeshadow with this one to kind of change its color a little bit. This was already done. This one is called I'll Glow. I had to use it 11 times in order to finish it. This is a really, or was a really pretty eyelid shade or an inner corner eyeshadow. It was really silvery, sparkly shade. I really enjoyed it. And then the last eyeshadow called Collaborate and Listen was a nice blue on the teal side, but it wasn't teal. It was a warmer sort of blue. I'd say it was leaning towards indigo, but it wasn't indigo at all. But it took me 11 uses to finish that up as well since last update. So I am really excited that we managed to finish all 3 eyeshadows, and we are only remaining with 1. So with that, I'm gonna put a goal of finishing this eyeshadow. So this is what it is looking like right now. It is not super flat, but it's not super thick either. So I think if I really focus on this eyeshadow, I might be able to get it done. The reason I'm focusing on this one to finish before this one or this eyeshadow is that its packaging broke. So it's broken, and that's why I don't want to be dealing with broken packaging for longer, and I want to get it all used up so that I can put this palette away. Let's recap our goals. So for e.l.f. Summer Breeze palette, I want to expand pan towards the top and have it look like a really nice ring all around the edges. For bronze this way, I just want to use it at least 5 times. If I use it more, well and good. If not, no big deal. For walking on eggshells, I used this 19 times since last update, so I want to keep using it the way I'm using it right now, and hopefully I can get around maybe more than 10 uses, because I have other eyeshadows in my pan those eyeshadows and expand those pans that I am using in a similar way. So at least 10 uses on this eyeshadow would work for me. For our Essence Ice Baby palette, I want to use up this eyeshadow called VIP completely, because the packaging is broken and I just want to put this one away. That's the update on our palettes. Now let's take a look at the newer palette that we are rolling in. So this is called Top It Up. It's again from Essence. I got all of these palettes together based on the usage data. None of the eyeshadows in both of these palettes took me more than 100 uses to finish completely. That's the reason I'm rolling this in. It fits the theme of fun or pocket sized. Also, these eyeshadows don't take long time to finish, so hopefully I can finish most of the eyeshadows that are in here. And this is what it is looking like. Let's take a closer look. This is a true taupe palette. Even this dark shimmer has really nice hint of pinky taupey kind of tones, and these shimmers of course are so pretty. I dug this eyeshadow accidentally with my fingernail. It's an old casualty, but this is what we are starting with. Also, this palette was in my project level up last year as a level 4 palette, and that's where all of these pans come from. So I have a really nice head start on these eyeshadows. So I'm hoping that I might be able to finish at least 2 eyeshadows by end of this year. That would make me really happy, because those eyeshadows are also going to be counting towards my goal of finishing at least 25 eyeshadows this year. I think I'm on track, and I just need to figure out a few more eyeshadows that I can incorporate to finish this year. But that's what we are starting with. For this one, I'm not putting a goal of using all eyeshadows at least 5 times each, simply because I want to focus on my palettes in pan those eyeshadows and expand those pans. I'm yet to film my project level up video because I'm leveling up to level 5. So I don't know what palette I will be working on. So that's why I'm kind of using a laid back approach for this palette, because I have already made such a good progress on the other palettes in this project. I'm just rolling it in because I don't have a lot of eyeshadows to share with you guys, and also in a hope to finish maybe a few eyeshadows that's going to count towards my goal of using up 25 eyeshadows. So that's all I have for today's update. So with the addition of this palette into this project, now we are working on 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 palettes. So once these 4 eyeshadow pans, 2 in these, are done, I'll be kicking out 4 palettes from my collection, which is super exciting. And that's all I have for today's update. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. I hope you have a wonderful day or night, depending on when you're watching my video, wherever in the world you are. I will see you in my next one. Until then, take care. Bye.